This is Norma L. Gallegos. Today's date is January 4th, 2003, and I am interviewing Pete Dimas for the U.S. Latino and Latina World War II Oral History Project. We are sitting at the Vet Center in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you, Pete, for agreeing to be interviewed. First, we want to start off with for you to tell me what it was like before you went into the military. How about your family? You want to talk about your family?
How far before?
With when you were like a teenager going to school, how was life back then?
Okay. It was part of the Depression.
Okay.
And we live in Albuquerque. And Dad used to work in the railroad shops.
Okay. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 6 sisters and 4 brothers besides me.
And
I can correct. I think it's 6 sisters. I'm pretty sure. If I go by name, I can.
and what memories do you have of your father and your mother?
Well, they were sort of a religious type, Catholics. And they make sure that we make a Holy Communion. And my other brother, they used to serve as what do you call it, altar boys, That was my oldest brother and my second last, Alfred and Anastasio.
And what did you and your brothers and sisters do for fun when you were growing up?
Oh, we do all kinds of things. We used to play cards, and then we used to play, I forget what the name of the game was, but we used to put some black ashes from the stove upside down, and then we play that game that I don't remember the name, and then if you lose, they put marks on your face and so on.
Oh, okay.
I forgot what the name is. But we did.
You would play it with ashes?
Yeah, black acid from the bottom part of the top of the stove,
And do you remember any of the hard times? Because you said you grew up during the Depression.
Right.
Okay. So how was it, like for food, for money, for your family?
Well, we didn't have a hard time as far as eating is concerned, because like I was saying, from Albuquerque, we came to Phoenix. That was in 1926 or so. And we started with picking cotton. So being a big family, we used to make pretty good money. And then, of course, being the greatest family, sometimes we could make as much as, I think they said $100 a week, and that was a lot of money. My dad wasn't making that much when he was working at the railroad roundhouse, in Albuquerque. So I don't know what was the reason. I guess the reason was because things were getting hard, I guess. And we traveled from Phoenix to California, and we work over there also in, not me because I was just a kid, but the family work on, I don't know what they call it, picking walnuts and stuff, some of them in the oranges and so on and so forth. But we always had good food to eat. Mother was an excellent cook.
What do you remember most about her cooking? A dish that you love?
She used to make those papillas. You know what that is? You fry them in. She used to make good chili with carne, And he used to make some delicious beans. Oh, he used to do a lot of different macaroni and cheese and you name it, he had it. And he would do breakfast too.
Okay, and when were you born?
I was born in October the 21st, 1920. I was born in Las Vegas, New Mexico, but actually it was a little tiny village, Ojitos Frios. It's not even in the map. And I was born in my grandmother's house.
And is that where you went to school?
No. What happened is we live in Albuquerque at that time. And since my dad worked for a railroad company, we had free fare for the train. So every time she would get pregnant, they sent it to my mother's mother, and then she would give birth over there and then come back to Albuquerque. At least 2 or 3 of us were born there for the beginning, I guess. I don't know, for one reason or the other.
And so where did you go to school?
I started school in Phoenix, here in Phoenix. And Grant School is what it doesn't exist now, I don't think. And when I started school, I was about maybe 6 years old or so, even 7, I don't know. I started school late. At that time, the Depression, the families don't send their kids right away to school, you know. At that time, that's the way it was, you know.
Because they had to help.
And they had to help, yeah, working on the farms and so on and so forth. And
so you graduated from school?
no, what happened is I went to, with years, you know, went by, I went to the last school was Lowell School. I don't know whether it's still there or not. And I went to the 7th grade, and that's it. I quit. I started working on the farms. I used to go to the farm.
And when you went to school, like to grade school, how was the school then? You know, was it were the schools small? Were the teachers Hispanic? Were the teachers Hispanic?
No, the teacher wasn't Hispanic, but the school buildings were good, you know, and the teachers were fine. And sometimes they, you know, how teachers, they would ask me to help her with the books, put them on the car and things like that once in a while. And
what kind of games did you play in school? Do you remember?
Sometimes we play ball, you know, and sometimes we just play, I don't know, take, what do you call it, take?
Tag.
Tag.
You tag.
Tag. And things of that sort. And then, of course, in the bars and all that stuff, you know.
And you said you only went to the 7th grade. Was that pretty much the same for your other brothers and sisters?
Yeah. The only one that I know that graduated from high school was my youngest sister. And others, of course, they probably took vocation and, you know, vocational school training and whatever. And
so how old were you when you stopped going to school?
1930, I think it's 19. It could be 1936, I think. About 16 years or so. 15, let's say about 15, 16.
What do you remember about when you were in school, about the community where you lived, the people in your community?
They were nice people. The biggest part were Hispanics. And but that school, like Lowell, it was integrated with whites also, you know.
And how old were you when World War II broke out?
Let's see. It happened in December 41, right? I was 21.
And were you drafted?
No.
You volunteered?
Volunteer.
Do you remember what you were doing when war broke out?
Exactly. It was one Sunday, and there's three of us. We borrowed the cars from the parents, you know. One Sunday, you, and Sunday, me, and then the other one, and so on. And it was Sunday, and we was riding, you know, and then the news came on at that time, and said that Pearl Harbor has been, you know, bombed, and the Japanese, you know, hit it, and the whole story. And we just was stunned. We didn't expect it. And we said, you know what? We're going to have to go. That's the first thing we said.
And it was you and your two other brothers?
My two other brothers, being that they enlisted almost a year before the war broke out, before Pearl Harbor.
Okay. And what's your brother's name?
One, Alfred, is the one that's here. And the other one, Daniel, he was killed in Luzon, in the Philippines.
So when you decided that you were going to enlist in the military, you went home and you told your parents?
What happened is that my brother, really, I wanted to be in the service before them. Because, well, you know the CC camps?
The what?
The Civilian Conservation Corps.
Oh, okay. You were in that?
And then they went as volunteers. So I told the captain that I wanted to volunteer. At that time, I was probably 18. And the captain says, okay, we'll give you consent papers for your parents. And of course, mother didn't want it. So she rejected. She told me, as soon as you come back and stay with us at least 3 or 4 months, because you've been away so long. I stayed 2 years in the CC camps. And then you can go.
And what did you do at the CCC camp? What did you do there?
I was mostly, they call it a dog robber. I was, they call it that, but what it is, I take care of the officers. I serve them their dinner, breakfast, and all that. And then I take care of the quarters, fix their beds and everything else. It was a snap job, you know, very good.
And how long were you there?
2 years.
2 years? And they would pay you to do that?
$30 a month altogether, and $25 of those $30, $25 went to my parents.
Oh, okay.
And I had $5. But since I was taking care of the officers, I would get about $40 extra. They give me tips. So that helped a lot.
Then what did you do in your free time when you were at the CCC?
Well, we used to go to town, little towns when we could, you know. And what happened is that we wanted to have some beer. But one time, and that was the beginning of when I enlisted, we went to town to Taos, New Mexico. We were in the La Madera, and that's quite a few miles, but it went on a GI truck. And coming back, I guess the drivers had drank too much, and the truck made a turn right on the, almost crossing the Rio Grande, and there was a little pretty hilly there. And when turned around, the truck rolled over and landed on the 4 wheels. And 4 of the men got killed, and I had a broken leg right here.
That was when you were still with the CCC, or that was?
That was almost at the beginning of the CC camp. Okay. Maybe I'm going backwards, but that's how it is.
And when you went home and told your parents that you wanted to enlist in the military, you had to stay with your parents 4 months before you actually enlisted?
Yes.
And when you enlisted in the military, how many brothers did you already have serving? in the military?
When I enlisted, the two brothers.
The two brothers.
They went together.
And they were in the army. Both of them were in the army.
Yeah, they went to Fort Bliss, the cavalry at Fort Bliss, Texas.
And when you enlisted, where did you go for basic training?
Well, the way it happens, I could have enlisted a long time ago, but mother didn't let me. I went to look. I took some vocational training, learned welding and all that sheet metal work and so stuff. And then I went to, I hitchhiked to Los Angeles. Am I going too slow or too fast? I went to Los Angeles and I hitchhiked over there, and then I put applications on the plant because I was qualified as a welder and sheet metal worker. And then I went from the Los Angeles, I went to San Diego, and I went to this, I call it, I forgot the name of the plant, solar system, building planes there. And I went and I make an application. And I told them, how long would it be before they can call me? And they says, we might and we may not call you. Why? Because you're 21. I says, okay, what are you going to use to build this war machines? Says, I don't know. Women, that's what I told him. That's a good idea. Maybe so. And it did happen. So I came home, and I wasn't too happy about it. And after that, I got home, I told mother, and they'll probably call me. So I waited, I don't know, a month or so, and whatever it was. And I didn't hear anything from that. So I went to the post office, and I says, they wanted people to go to Pearl Harbor. Okay? So I went at the post office, that's how we used to register at that time. So I signed up to go to Pearl Harbor as a welder. And after that, I waited. I don't know how many months, 3 or 4 months. And one day I told my mother, I said, you know what? I'm going to join the Army. No, how can you do that? You got two brothers. And then you got your leg that's been broken and this and that. It's okay. Maybe they won't take me. I said, isn't it? So I went to the recruiting station, was in the post office too. The doctor looked at me and said, no, you got a bump leg somehow. Maybe they won't take you and this and that. And I cannot, okay. And I said, how can I get then? Oh, I forgot to tell you. I made application to go to Pearl Harbor. Oh, yeah, I did that. Okay, I'm sorry. So anyway, where was I?
When you went to the recruiting station at the post office to sign up to volunteer.
The doctor, he looked at me and said that he wouldn't pass me. But you can go to Santa Fe, and that's where the most of the recruiting was taking place. And I says, okay, do I take the bus or who pays? You have to pay.
So you had to pay your way to go to Santa Fe?
Yeah, because they don't know if I was gonna qualify. So I called mother. No, I went home and I told mother that I was gonna go to Santa Fe. I'll be back. I says, I want to register. So I went to Santa Fe and they sure got me. And there was just about 8 or 10 volunteers, and the rest of them were regular recall guys. I say to say drafted, but it's just even like volunteers to me because they were willing. But that moment, the volunteer was first to everything, first to examination, first to this, first to that. That was the only time. From there on, after we were sworn in, it didn't make no difference. We're just one of them.
And once you got sworn in, how soon after that did you leave?
Okay, from Santa Fe, we got on the train. It comes to Albuquerque. And we were in Albuquerque. They stopped there, and there was a soldier on our car, a sergeant. And he was off of the train, he kind of got in. And I says, Sergeant, you know what? I forgot to I couldn't say goodbye to my parents. I just live about 2 blocks from here. I want to go over there and say goodbye. And I'll be right back. He said, you can't go. Why not? It's very close. You're a soldier now. And when I say you can't go, you just can't go. Get back in the train. That was funny. So I didn't get to say goodbye.
But so where were they sending you when you went?
The same to Fort Bliss, Texas.
With a cap? With a cavalry?
Yeah. No, not the cavalry. It's just not recruiting. It was a...
Basic training?
No. It's a reception center.
Okay.
So I stayed there. I don't know. I don't remember how long we stayed there, but I did go to El Paso, and be visited and all that stuff. And then they asked us, I signed for the Air Force. And so from there, they sent me to Shepherdville, Texas. And that was my basic training over there.
So you were in the Army Air Corps? Yeah,
at first. I wanted to be an aero gunner. But they made a test, and for the simple reason that I didn't know my square roots, they didn't disqualify me. Mm-hmm. And so then there was a writing that says, we need a lot of cooks. So I signed up for cook.
So you were a cook in the Army?
For a while, yeah, most of the time. So what I did there, we went to school there, Cooks and Baker School right there, in Shepherdville, Texas.
And how soon after you got to Shepherd did you write to your mother and your father and let them know where you were?
Oh, right away.
Right away?
Right away, yeah.
And how was your training when you went to cook school? What did you do? What kind of things?
Okay. We get up early in the morning. The first thing is clean all the latrines and everything else. And after that, we go to drilling. After drilling, we had to go to the kitchen and help the cooks. We started helping them. And that's how we drilled, and then we go to the cooking, to learn some cooking,
So you would cook, at that time, would they make what they call SOS? You know, that cream gravy with ground beef?
You know what that word that means, okay?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, all kinds of stuff happened to me. And so then after that, say,
And how were you treated because you were Hispanic? How did they treat you in the military?
oh, they treat me nice. It depends how you, I have all kinds of friends. Oh, they make fun of you, but it's no big deal, sometimes.
And how long were you in the United States before they send you overseas?
In the United States, I was born here.
Right, but how long were you?
Oh, well, okay, I'm sorry. How long I was in the United States before I went overseas? I have to tell you that when I graduated from the Cooks and Baker School, they sent me to Yakima, Washington. Mm-hmm. I stayed there from I forgot, from October to December the 7th. Mm-hmm. And I remember that it was an anniversary of the Pearl Harbor.
And you went where? To Fort Lewis, Washington?
No.
Oh, you would know?
They sent me, Yakima, Washington.
Okay.
And then from Yakima, Washington, they sent me to Air Base, Blythe Air Base.
Where's that?
It's in Arizona, just a few miles from here.
California?
Blythe,
Uh-huh.
where it is, by the close to the state lines.
Right. And what did you do there?
I met my wife.
Okay. Tell me about that. How did you meet your wife?
And the movies.
You were on pass? They gave you a pass?
Oh, yeah. We cooked. We had a lot of passes because you work. You get one day, then you got another day off, and that day on, and so on and so forth.
And you were at the movies and you saw her there?
Yeah, and I sat right beside her.
Uh-huh. And you started flirting?
I just started pushing her, getting too close. And she liked it.
Uh-huh.
And then the next time I was in the movie again, I saw her, and then I wanted to keep going, and then she got out of the seat, and he came to me and hugged me. But anyway.
And how much did you have to pay to get in to go see the movie?
I don't remember. At that time, we didn't pay much attention. We just, whatever they tell us, it's all in fun to go to town,
And how long were you there in Blythe? How long did you stay there?
I stayed from December the 7th to about February, I think. December the 7th to February. No, I stayed a year there. What am I saying?
And what did you do? What was your day like when you would get up in the morning? What time did you have to get up?
4 o'clock.
In the morning. And what did you do?
Go straight to the kitchen.
And cook all day long?
Yeah, well, we cooked half a day from 4 to 12, and next day, and then we were off that afternoon, and then the other crew would come.
And what kind of foods did you cook? Frijoles, tortillas?
No, nothing like that. They were just roast and macaroni and cheese and all kinds of chicken and everything,
Well, the food was very different than what your mom would cook.
Oh yeah, it's different.
And when did you get your orders to go overseas?
Okay. From Blythe, we moved to McCook, Nebraska. And in McCook, Nebraska, I wanted to, well, I saw in the bulletin board, it says they wanted to volunteer, that they were trying to build a ground crew to send them overseas. And I said, well, the war's pretty near over anyway. And besides, I says, I don't mind going. So I signed for it. So 106th Infantry Division was composed of all branches of the Army. And so I got a transfer, and I went to in Indiana, Chipperfield, Texas, I think. No, I'm getting mixed up. In Indiana, I can't think of the name right now. My God.
Was it an army base?
Yeah, right.
Fort Benjamin Harrison, Indiana? No.
McCook, Nebraska. McCook, no. McCook, Nebraska? No, McCook.
But it was in Indiana?
Yeah, I can't remember. I even went to my wife over there riding in the show where there was nothing there, just an empty space. But Camp Atterbury, Indiana. My mind had to wait a little while.
Okay.
So they start training real fast.
What kind of training did you go through?
Well, I had to go to the obstacle course. I had to go to the firing range. I had to know how to shoot a grenade and stuff like that. And still, I have to be a cook.
Mm-hmm. And what did you have then? M1? Was it M1 that you fired?
Yeah.
M1.
I made a sharpshooter on the M1 and on the carbine. And I also train. I mean, I use a carbine. Where they trained me on that too, and that was marksmanship. I didn't make the etudes. I didn't have one, and but that was the one that was going to use anyway.
The M1, it had a more steady, when you fired the M1.
It's big, right? Bigger, yeah. Bigger. And I feel more safety with it. Like more, like I can survive better.
And how much did the M1 weigh? How many pounds?
I can't remember.
Remember?
It's nice, a little heavy, but it's comfortable because it's your life depends on that, you know.
And when you were doing the training, you had to go like through barbed wire.
That's yeah. We went. So they told us we're going to enter the infiltration training, you know. So I went once, and they got in barbed wires, things like that, and they said, don't get to the barbed wires because they got dynamite and so on and so forth, you know. And we got to drag ourselves as we go because we can raise our head. And then they start shoot machine gun fire over us like that.
And there was live fire, right?
Yeah. And we had to crawl, and we carry up the rifle with us, and finally at the end there was a beauty trench. When I was so tired, I feel like vomiting, and I just rolled into that trench.
And did you wear leggings? You wore leggings?
Boots.
Boots?
Yeah, combat boots. You probably know what they are. And so I told my friends when they said me, well, I was almost trying, like I was going to throw out. And here comes the sergeant. Okay, how do you feel? Bad. I said, okay, next round again, another round.
And on your pistol belt, what did you have on your pistol?
No, I didn't use pistol, no.
No pistol belt? You didn't wear
your
canteen?
Oh, yeah. The cartridge, you know, cartridge belt, you know.
Oh, that's what you called them back then, cartridge belts.
Cartuchos, cartridge belt.
So what did you wear on that belt? Other than you wore an ammo pouch?
Yeah, yeah.
A canteen?
A canteen, and we had ammunition and little pockets all over. Yeah.
And did you have to wear a backpack on the back? No?
No, not for the infiltration. I don't remember we had a backpack. Maybe we did, I forgot. Probably we did, because we had to go. We knew we were going overseas.
Okay. And you also had to go through an obstacle course?
That's the obstacles over here.
And they would also throw grenades at you?
No, this thing, they had some dynamite, and then they go once in a while.
But you had to qualify with a grenade, though, right? You had to throw grenades too in your training?
I didn't get to do that.
You didn't get to do that. And when you finished that training, where did you go? Where did they send you after that training?
They alert us. My wife's having a baby, and
when did you get married?
I got married in December of 1933.
In that
1933, 1943. I mean, gee whiz.
And how long did you know your wife before you married her?
Oh, let's see, at least 6 months. At least
6 months. Okay. So would the Army pay you for her? Did they give extra money for your wife?
Allowance, yeah.
An allowance?
She used to get a check.
Okay. And did you tell your parents that you had gotten married?
I wrote them a letter, yeah.
And when you got orders to go overseas, how did your wife react?
Well, here's the point. You are not supposed to tell anybody, no family, when you know you're going overseas. It was
a secret.
Top secret. So what happened, what I didn't know we was going overseas yet. They didn't say that, but we had an idea. But the idea is that when my daughter was born, I didn't have no money at that time, and I went to the Red Cross so they could loan me some money to go. And the captain said, "Well, I guess you can go." I said just a few days, you know. So I went to see what she was born and everything else, and I come back. I didn't tell them that I was going overseas. We knew that we was going overseas. And then when I came back, I had my insignia and all this stuff, and there was an officer on the bus from Indianapolis. We took the bus to the base. And he said, "Soldier, why are you wearing this?" "Well, that's my outfit." I said, "Yeah, but you're supposed to rip it off. Don't you know we're going pretty, we're moving out?" "Okay," I says, "I didn't know." So then we went to New York.
How did you go to New York? You went by train?
Train. Everything was about train. Went to New York at Camp Hamilton.
Okay, and when you went by train, also with you went all your...
The whole division.
The whole
Yes.
division. So that would include tanks and everything like that?
No.
No?
With just the passengers, just the soldiers. The tanks probably were carried by somebody else.
Okay. And how long did it take for the train to go from Indiana to New York?
It didn't take too long. They used to travel pretty fast at that time, for some reason or the other. I don't remember how long it took, but we did eat on the way, and we could.
Which uniform did you have on? The dress uniform or?
No, no, because when you travel, you get a regular combat uniform.
So it was like fatigues?
Fatigues, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when your unit boarded the train, everybody already had their combat gear on?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody had their weapon?
Yeah, everything. You got to learn how to carry your pack and everything.
What was in your pack?
See, here's again the first aid and extra changing stuff, and I can't remember if we had a blanket in there.
And what happened when you got to New York?
When we got to New York, the first thing we know is they put us in a little, what do you call these things?
A holding area?
No, it's we were there waiting for it to get on one of landing bars. They're short, but the floor and then about so high, and they did it for safety reasons. We couldn't get our heads out. We have to stay down until we get on I got the Queen Elizabeth. You heard about that ship, one of the greatest ships from British. And that's the one that took us over.
On the Queen Elizabeth?
Yeah.
On a British ship, it took you over across the sea?
Yeah. And but that was no luxury because there was a whole division there.
Yeah. And a whole division is thousands and thousands of soldiers, right? It's a lot of soldiers.
I forget what it is doing, about 1,000, I guess.
And when you
More than that.
When you got on the Queen Elizabeth, how long did it take you to cross to go to overseas?
I remember about 6 days.
6 days? And what did you do in those 6 days? What would you do?
First of all, there was a lot of puking,
You got sick?
I didn't get sick, thanks God. But you go to the restroom, that you can walk. And then, of course, we watched the flying fishes, and stuff like that. And then one time we sleep in the deck. Other time inside, and little burst, 2 to 3 men up there. And then we change over and over and again. And we eat 2 meals, one breakfast and a lunch.
And you wouldn't eat dinner?
No. breakfast and well, dinner. You could say dinner, two meals. But I used to. We would win it. It was fast food that they give us. I would put some wieners in my shirt and I eat them at night or whatever. Anyway, and
So when you went where? To Germany, England, where?
First we landed in Scotland, but enough to board on a train from Scotland. We went through. We passed London and we went to a military area,
And when you landed in Scotland, how was it? Was it cold? Was it raining? Was it raining?
No, I don't think it was raining. It was cool.
But when you landed, there wasn't no enemy fire or anything like that, right?
Not in Scotland, no.
Okay. And how different was it landing in Scotland than it was being here in the United States? The people or the land?
Oh, they were funny too. They talk. They used to talk funny. We were in a train and they. I didn't say anything, but our guys used to holler at them, and the Scottish, they talk so funny. We were making, kind of laughing. We didn't let them know, but we laughed at them. That way they would answer back. But they were, how do you call it? They were roaring for us, and they were happy.
So when you landed there, you boarded a train?
Yeah, and we landed out on a field where part of the training, hardly any training there, but just be on the field there. And we had a lot of rain, and we were sleeping on the farm. It was like a field of where the cattle, stuff like that.
And when you were on your way to Scotland and you were on the Queen Elizabeth, what did you feel? Did you ever feel like fear, or did you ever feel anxious or anything? No?
No. We were ready.
You were ready?
Yeah, because when we were in New York, we had a priest there, and he told us, look at the man beside you. Remember, he's not coming back. And you have to accept this. Because we're going to go there to serve and do what we need to do for our country. And then he says, anybody want to come to get the communion? He says, you don't have to confess to yourself. And I thought I'd bring that up. But what was the question you asked me?
Did anybody feel scared or fear?
No.
No?
No, you don't feel that way. You feel that you're not going to die. At least I didn't think. That's why he said the man on the side.
And when you got there, you said you were transported by train? To where?
To a field where there was, I guess it was an old field that had some use for cattle.
Uh-huh.
And we had a bad rain that night, and we start sneaking out from where we shouldn't, sneaking out to the farmers. We landed up on the big farms, barns of hay, we were too wet, And finally in the morning, a major come over and he was looking for us, and he said, you're trespassing property, and this and that, you could be court-martialed, and this and that. And the farmer said, no, we were glad to have him. We were glad to, come on, we'll give him coffee and this and that. That was the part that I remember. Mm-hmm. And from there, they let us go to London. We went to London and passed.
Okay, and when you got to London, was it...
We just went to visit from camp, yeah.
Oh, okay. And how long did you stay there in Scotland?
No, in London, I mean in England. I remember it could have been a week or two.
And when did you actually start engaging with the enemy.
Okay. After we left London on I don't know what ship it was. We crossed the channel. We got, where they had that, where they had that invasion.
Normandy?
The Normandy, Leyte. We landed there. And after we landed there, we got on trucks and we moved north.
When you went to London, was London still very much intact, or was there a lot of bombed out?
Oh yeah, it was a lot of bomb. They gave us a tour, We went to get a tour. We saw all the parts of London downtown where they cut the head of what was it, a woman a long time ago in history, and so on and so forth. So we went to the PX, no, not PX. What do you call it? Boy, my mind doesn't want to click. For the GIs, you can sleep there and stuff like that. USO.
USO.
Right. And
but there was a lot of bombings and stuff in London.
Yeah, we heard some bombing. Yes, we heard some bombing there, one or two, and there was they were the missiles already.
And how did the people there in London treat the American people, the American soldiers?
Real nice.
Real nice.
They were real nice. And
how did you feel when you were on your way to the Normandy beach?
Nothing. No, I feel it was normal. It's something we had to do.
When you landed in Normandy, was it hard to land there? Was the enemy attacking?
No. It was quiet because there was Germans around. But we didn't meet them. There's still Germans in those areas going towards Belgium, because we were going to Belgium. And I didn't know we were going to Belgium, but that's where we were going. And we got on the trucks, and we stayed on the trucks. Another man sat on my lap, and we drove and drove and drove and drove.
The truck said 2.5 tons?
Yeah, the big cargo trucks.
And was it cold during that time?
We didn't remember. It was cold, but we didn't feel that we had a fuel jacket and stuff like that. So our mind wasn't too much on the things in the cold. But the woman come to the truck when we would stop and give us wine and this and that.
What were they, German women or French?
I think they're French.
French women?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, when we stopped for a little break, not get off of the truck, stand up, I can hardly stand up. My legs were asleep. And so the other guy, happened that somebody was sitting on me, and I thought, let's change now, Well, anyway, so we could keep going. And
how many soldiers would they put in a truck?
As many they can put in there, because actually, when we were here in the States, you could sit down at so many, but maybe, I don't know, where it's 20 or something. But over there, they packed the trucks, one on top of the other.
So there was no room to stretch your legs?
No. It was funny. Well, it wasn't funny, but I mean, yeah.
And where did they transport you when you said you got in the trucks? Where were you going?
We didn't know where we were going. They never tell you. But then we got to Luxembourg, and then there was a town, and then we went up to the front. We landed up in the front. And I remember when we were getting close to the front in the morning, and I heard a lot of shooting and a lot of artillery. And I told my buddy, I said, I think they're training. I think they just got us close to here so that we can get used to the war. Used to the war, hell, there we going now. You're going to the front. So we got there. We took over. The soldiers that got that far, that because they got the Germans out of that area that we took over. They took they got to leave. They went for a rest, and we took off right on the German line, and they had these pillboxes there. We took them over to live on, and then other holes that they were dug there for cooking, and then the trenches that were there, we used them. All that the Germans filled.
And was it
Kind of quiet.
so you didn't cook anymore though, right?
Yeah, we cooking right there. We cooked there. We had the dugouts where they dig a big hole. I bet you the Germans had dug it because we didn't dig it. And then quite a few German helmets there with their gun there with being killed, When we got there. And so we were doing pretty good. And one time they sent me out to take some food to, one night, to take some food to the troops that were in the pillbox. And so they sent a jeep with a driver. And I don't know, they made a mistake, I think. So when they sent that, we put the big pots of food in order to give them a meal. They told me they hadn't eaten a meal for 2 or 3 days or something like that. So I went over there and I didn't even know where the CP was. They call it a CP. I guess you know what that is. Mm-hmm. And then there was a guard and stopped me. Hold, he says, And then he said, hold. Oh, I told him, it's Dimas. Of course, hope he remembers me. I said, and he says, if it wasn't for that jeep, I would have shot you guys dead, he says. He was a sentry guard in there. And you don't know that passport? Somebody made a mistake, didn't tell me about that passport. No? And he says, when they say hold, you say funds. And what's the other word? Cash or something like that. But anyway, that's password. Be sure and use it. So by the time I got to the pillbox, the Germans heard the jeep, and they threw some flares. They knew we were there. And I told the guy to keep coming, and the jeep driver, and he froze. And I got on one of the pine trees, and I just started straight with it. Because you could see everything. They probably thought we were going to attack, and they find out that it wasn't an attack, I guess. They quit. But anyway, then I walk to some intuition told me where the door was because it was at night. I didn't see that in the daytime. And I got there, and the other guy says, hold. Goes there. Cable, fans. I go, whatever. And I say, cables, and he said, fans. Then we were. Well, anyway, the captain says, take that stuff back. Yeah, but I got a lot. Take it back. Oh, not on the other hand, bring the coffee. And he dispatched two other soldiers to go get the coffee. The other guys went over there, and he's not putting food in there.
Why didn't he want them to eat food?
I never knew. And you could maybe because when they eat food, I guess I don't know the reason why. I never knew, but maybe because they're going to have to wash that gear, eating gear. But I don't know why he didn't let us eat, and I bring it back because he figured they shouldn't have sent me over there. It was a mistake. We were giving out our our position that way, you know. I mean, but I had to obey orders. That's what the sergeant told me.
And how long did you stay in that area? Did you constantly have to move from one area to another?
No, we stayed there from about November. I say about November the 24th, 25th, something like that. When we got there, I didn't keep track because our minds were just to go and do the job, you know. And I went and let's see, yeah, about November the 27th or the 28th, one of those, I forgot. And then comes December, and all they did is just they were shooting artillery, sparingly, not to a full force, you know. The German just.
And is that all that they would fire was just artillery?
Yeah, at that time. And you hear machine gun too, once in a while. And let me see what happened. Oh, everything was okay. And then the rumors were that we were going to go to Paris for a rest. Because that means that we've been there more than 2 weeks, I guess. And then they, I don't know what happened. Once in a while, there was one night that the shell came so close, and I was guarding. You guard each other there. I was guarding, and I knew they were going to hit, and I jumped from down, and there was a blanket for a door, you know, and then the man was standing there. You know, 4 or 5 men were there standing close to the entrance, and I knocked him down with a rifle, and I went down. And then the funny thing happened. I started laughing because I didn't know I was that strong, you know. Mm-hmm. And then the other guy said, "What's the matter? You're crazy. Don't you know you can get killed any minute?" And the other guy says, "Dimas, you're all right. Might as well die laughing." And the thing is, and that's when it started. And then more artillery. Then we heard screaming mimes. Screaming mimes. You know what they are?
What are screaming mimes?
They're from 6 to 8 shells shoot out at the same time. That's on a big artillery machine that they had, you know. And they seemed like they were tearing the skies up. I mean, they sound like that, you know. They were ripping something.
And were those from the enemy too? Yeah. Where you were at?
That's the attack. That was the December the 16th, early in the night, almost dark.
So there was a lot of dead during that time?
Yeah, so what happened, the captain says, "We quit. No more cooking, no nothing. Let's take the trenches." We took the trenches. And it was quiet for a little while. And after that, they shoot a lot of that. And then we had to guard. You know, they had, what do you call it, that, I don't know what they call it. It's got a little roof up top, and then you're waiting for the enemy there. Me and 2 guys guarding, and the other ones were sleeping, and the one looked at the train. And we went after 4 hours, and we relieved. But anyway, in the morning, the captain said, you know, they start shelling a lot. And then the tanks start shooting their 88s. That's the kind of shell they use. And then the machine gun. And then the captain got us up, and they said, "We're going to try to hold them." And we got single files stagger, and we're waiting for them. And then I start getting scared.
How close was the enemy?
You can hear the tanks first, and then when you start seeing them, it was late. The 88s were coming from all directions. And after that, the riflemen were coming with the tanks.
Hold on just a minute. Okay, we're gonna talk about those. Oh my God. Okay, we want to put that on the. Is it ready? Okay, good. Okay. And when after all the artillery the incoming artillery that started coming in, and all the 888 started coming in, how long did that last?
Sometimes it seems like it's going to last forever. Sometimes it's not that long. But what happened is that it lasts until we start fighting back. But it didn't stop. And we start obeying orders, and I thought it was suicide. But anyway, we keep shooting at them, and then we killed probably quite a few Germans. But our men the were the worst of all. So the captain right away says that we're going to have to stop. We're going to have to retreat. We're going to have to move on.
So how many men did y'all lose that day?
I don't know, really. I don't know, because at that time you just have to move as fast as you can.
And what would happen to dead soldiers?
Well, the medics take over, and they can drag them whatever they could do. And it was too much, and the captain wanted to lose no more men. I don't know, even if it's 4 or 5 men, whatever it was at that moment. I don't know how many they were, but they were too much fire. And anyway, we move out, and we were on the trucks, and we happened to have a trailer truck there, and we drove until we drove, and then no, before that we keep retreating, but the trucks were not close enough, and we retreated, and then we were the Germans kind of slowing down. We're trying to slow them down, and finally we got into the truck. We had a truck there, the one that I remember. I don't remember how the other ones, what they had, where they had the truck. And we had one truck, and we got on that one. And we keep going in the truck. So we got away from them because we had to move back. We didn't want everybody to get killed. And so then we drove, and then after a while, by that time, all these things keep going, it was beginning to get kind of dark. Not exactly dark, but it was just, the sun had just gone down. That sun had just gone down. And the tank was right behind us.
The German tank?
The German tank was following us and shooting. And the captain says, well, and we ran out of gas. It was a little road. I know they pushed us into a little road, a country road. And then we was looking at a big fire over there. There was I can remember. Well, it was a city that the German wanted to take. If I remember later on, I'll tell you what this. And I shouldn't forget that. Bastogne was burning, and I could see the flames from where we were. But I had to jump out of the truck. You never leave your rifle. You keep it with yourself all the time. That's your life. So then I jump out of the truck, and they say, well, no gas, nothing. The jeeps were running out of gas too, and the thing was shooting artillery, and then the infantry was coming, and I remember one officer says, "Come on, let's stop him here," It was getting almost dark, and I says, "Stop him here?" I was thinking, we have no chance. I told the other guy, don't listen to him. Don't tell anybody. And then finally he started moving too. So we started getting away from the fire, And then we got to the bushes. We were into the bushes. It was for some reason I feel so good when I saw our captain. And when I saw the captain, I said, well, we're still together, And then he says, well, the fire stopped. A fight at night, if it's not going to benefit anybody, the Germans don't want. They prepare for the sun. The sun come out, I guess. So we moved into there, and I saw the captain, and I was glad to see him, and I see some of my other comrades there, and I said comrade, I shouldn't say that. That's a German name, youth name, my buddies. And Kevin said, okay, he says, you know what? We got plenty, we can rest now. We hadn't rest for about 2 nights, And we slept without covering up, just laid down and whatever we put. All of a sudden, it seems like it was morning. It's, dawn, what do you call it? Dawn? Dawn? And then they give the orders to start digging because they're going to come after us, he said. So we start digging our foxholes there. And then when the daylight start coming, we finish me and two men to a foxhole. Yeah. And when I was just about the last, I was going to get in on the foxhole, I heard artillery, the first artillery at that day, and it was flying. I think it was the first, maybe more of that we're doing in different areas, but when the artillery was coming, I can tell it was going to hit me if I don't move. So I jump into the foxhole, and it hit there, and I shoot a lot of rocks up, and I didn't get it. I didn't know after. No, I didn't get it. That was the closest I got to get killed in that area, So then after the artillery stopped, then the German was coming, the rifle, the infantry. And when they were coming, they were hollering to scare us to, hollering. They feel that they were victorious or something. I don't know. They were coming real gun-ho, I don't know what they call it. So they were coming, and we start shooting them as they see them. Start shooting them, and some of them will fall, somebody keep dragging. And then they start shooting our men, and I see the men getting hit, and then the medics, everybody was hollering, medics here, medics there, and pretty soon we win. It took just about maybe 20 minutes of fighting there, which is quite a long time sometimes. And the captain said, we will have to retreat and abandon the area. We are losing too many men. And be careful and take care of yourself. We're getting to a point where every man have to take care of himself. That's what he said. And it's written on the paper here too. Anyway, we start going. There was a barbed wire fence. I don't know how I went through that. And all the other guys. And I guess somebody cut some of them. And then we got to a little meadow. I said, they're going to get me here in the meadow. And I just went, and other guys, it was not too far, but to me, it was too far because I didn't want them to see me, So I crossed that little meadow, not me, but most of us. And then we started a mountain, climbing up, because they were pushing up to the mountain. And I saw not a guy, 2 or 3 different men close to me that were really wounded, real bad. You can see the blood coming out of the trousers, I mean, we don't see the blood going like that. You see the blood, transparent. And I feel so sad. I feel it seems like I was the one that was shot. And then the other guys, I could see the other guys, and then always two guys have to handle one guy that's wounded, And then I saw another guy, an old man. To me, was an old man, 40 years maybe, or 35. I was 25. And he says, I can't go. Sure you can. And then he says, he was going to lead down, don't do that. Keep going. You can make it. Because the machine gun was coming after us and all this rifle fire, And then we kept going, and then we passed that little hill. I don't know. We went sideways, and we were separated. The biggest part at that moment, we were separated. When the captain said, "Take care of yourself as well as you can." And though I was alone, I found myself alone after that while. And I don't know how many people would run into the bushes or would do some, whatever they did, I don't know, because I wanted to save myself, like the captain said. And I heard a tank, and I was coming on those woods, and when I heard the tanks real close, they were just going around and looking for us. And here comes one tank, and I was on the side of the track that they made for the tanks there in the woods, And I hit the ground, and I went into a bush there. And I started very quiet. And the tank went like that and made a sort of a turn like that. And it appeared. And then another one was coming. And I says, okay, what I'm going to do now, I says, I'm going to let that, he probably took I didn't want him to see me. I stayed down and I let it go by too. And as soon as this one goes by me, I says, I was thinking, as soon as he just goes by me, I'm going to make a jump across that road it's a rough road, that they built for that. A track, yes, a track like that. And I went back, like, get started, and I had so much energy. I jumped. I didn't want to step in the center because I figured I'd fall down or they will see me. But I jumped and I got to the other side. It seemed like God or somebody lift me up, honest. Well, anyway, they call it something else in the Army. You have too much energy. So they didn't see me. I got right under the bushes there. And I just stood there. I was breathing pretty heavy too. And after that, I got up. I started moving that way, away from, I didn't know where I was going. I was thinking, if I can only go to Voces, I see some British or whatever. I was thinking all kinds of things at that moment. And get away from this. And where are my men? I said, I was by myself. And I said, and then something told me that direction. And so I turned that direction. Well, the way I see it now. And pretty soon I kept going that direction, and I was the big trees get smaller. And they were maybe 6 feet high or so on in that area. No? And then I heard my company, so bodies were talking. I heard him talking or whatever they're saying, keep down or go out to everybody, trying to save each other. And he said, oh, well, I'm back with my company. And so I went and the machine gun started. And I started shooting, And then, so I hit the ground. And then after a while, they started shooting artillery. And then after that, they gave an announcement. And then it says, come and see quickly. Have us 30 seconds to surrender. And then if you don't come, we shoot again. Something like that. We start the fire or whatever. So nobody surrendered. And remember, and then they were killing some of these POWs, was hold us back a lot, you know. So then I stayed there, and it was quiet for that 30 seconds, and then they start shooting again. And I heard the men being hit, moaning and gunning and all that stuff, and getting killed. And I said, well, I didn't say anything. I'm going to be next or something, maybe. And then the loudspeaker come again.
And this was the Germans asking you.
Come in quickly, surrender. We got I said, having 30 seconds. So the captain said, okay, drop the weapons and let's go, surrender. That's it. And so they did. I didn't. I still was stubborn. I figured that if they forget about me, maybe, I don't know what I was thinking, maybe I would go back somewhere with some friendly forces. I was kind of crazy anyway at that moment. So I didn't want to give myself up yet. To my mind come this guy that they shoot him, as soon as they get him. So I stay quiet. All the guys, most of the people, there's only about 4 of us was left there. They were probably like me, They wanted to surrender because they're afraid to get shot anyway. So then I said, this is what I said. God, I know that I had to meet you someday. But if this is that day, I'm ready. Forgive me for all the things I've done wrong. And the machine was coming. It didn't hit me, but I could almost feel it, And then the mortar shell was coming. And then the loudspeaker again. This time I'm going to go like this. Yeah, I already confessed give myself to God. He said, no more fear. No more fear. And so I looked my way, and Everhard was his name, this young fellow. To me, who was young, I was 24 or 25. I was 25, yeah. No, 24, 1944. And so I look at him, and he was moaning, rolling. And I says, oh, you got hit with a mortar shell. Mortar shells, something different. They hit you and they bust everything up. So I saw his feet, and then I forgot his name, but I don't want to think about it because I can't remember. And the guy was coming like this, to give up. And I says, come and help me. Hell no, don't you know that we have to go start shooting right away? I don't give a damn. You come and help me with Everhard. And I got him, I kind of lift him up a little, and I told him, you hug him, I says, on the shoulder, and you hug me, and I'll hold your leg, I says. So we start going about maybe 10 feet, and then we got to the clear, a little embankment, what do you call it? And so, an SS man was right there with a submachine gun there. And he poked me and says, got any ammunition and all that stuff, Next Harran Seal. I said, and then how to wounded man, Boys Hospital. I said, and so after we slid down, we went towards all the men that were captured were there. They had, see, when they capture, they tell you to put your hands on helmet. And that's the way they were all sitting down. We were the last four there that surrendered. The last three, not the four. Yeah, see. And so I got there to where the men were, me and this other guy, and then I saw a guy I knew was a lieutenant, German. I says, man, Boys Hospital. And then he says, well, your men wounded. Okay, well, let's fix them. He says, give me, have your, I don't know how you say in German or what, and tell me, field jacket. And overcoat, I threw it a long way because it was too heavy to carry on after running all the time and going on, keeping on the go all the time. And he got it. He had a knife and he cut it. And he told me about a tourniquet. I said, so we give him a tourniquet. He helped. I helped him, got a tourniquet. And then he says, get an overcoat. There's a guy that was an overcoat there, one of the GIs. And I told him to give me an overcoat. And he didn't want to get his hands done. He was scared, I guess. Don't worry about it. I talked to the officer. He says, okay, give me the overcoat, make a stretcher. And we make stretcher. And I got some, he told me, and then there was some little branches, and so I'd like that to make some, to make a stretcher anyway, make a short. And I said, Voice Hospital. So the chairman says, oh, the road right here, the road right here, he says. They come quick. Okay, I says, and so he told me to go to the road, and me and the other guy carry Everhart. And then one truck had the Red Cross. And then I look at it, he passed out, it's full of troops, The Germans used a lot of tricks, and with rifles. Then the other truck came, and well, it was more of a, I don't know what they had on the truck, but they had some Germans. I didn't see rifles on that truck. I think they carried something else. And that's why I wanted to stop for this. I call it kid because he was younger than me. And we put him in the truck, me and this other guy, I don't know what his name was. And then he says, I pain a lot. I say, get your collar and beat the hell out of it and your pain will go away. I said, I don't know what the hell to tell him. Okay, here it is. And I says, I think you're lucky because they're going to take care of you in hospital. And I walk away, and I put my hands on the... But then, when we get liberated, I could tell you a lot about that.
How long were you?
Prisoner of war.
How long? You were a prisoner of war?
Yeah.
How long?
We walked, after they captured, we walked that night. It got late. And then they took, most of the guys had to give their shoes. They needed shoes. And they had from Germany, from France, and from Austria, other kind of shoes. But I unrolled my thing and I kept my boots, and everybody was taking their boots off.
So how long did you have to walk? Many miles?
Well, we worked all night. But before we did that, we went through a old ruined city, a small city, I guess. And somebody down the line, he starts singing, God Bless America. And then we start singing, God Bless America, Land of the Free and all that stuff. And we keep on singing and singing and singing and singing and we were walking and walking, you know. And we just want to let the Germans know that we weren't licked yet, I guess. I'd like it.
So how long were you a prisoner of war?
Almost 6 months.
And who liberated you from the POW camp?
What happened is that I don't know what kind of arrangement they made, but the Germans could not come to that river, Elbe River, and we could have our soldiers bring some canoes across. And so they brought the canoes, and we got on the canoes.
And how did your family find out that you were a prisoner of war? Did they even know that you had been captured?
Who, the Americans?
No, your family, your wives, your mother, your father.
They knew from this letter. You want me to read it?
Yes.
Surprise letter reveals son prisoner in Germany. So far, I am getting enough to eat and have a place to sleep. As soon as the war is over with Germany, I will come home. So let's make the best out of it and hope it won't be long. And then he says, far from being discouraged, this excerpt from a letter sent by Corporal Dimas, 106th Infantry Division, is a letter from prison camp in Germany, indicates that the corporal's parent, Mr. and Mrs. C. Dimas, 916 South 4th Avenue, received a letter Tuesday. Until then, they had no knowledge of his being a war prisoner, as they had privilege received a War Department notification that he was missing in action. Pete entered the Army 2 years ago and received training in Fort Bliss, Texas, after which he was stationed in Indiana and New Mexico. And 4 months ago, he went overseas and saw action in France and Germany. Residents of the Phoenix for 15 years. Dimas have 2 other sons in the service. Private Daniel J. Dimas with the cavalry in the Philippines and Corporal Alfred G. Dimas in Maryland.
So when you were released from the POW camp, they sent you back to the United States right away?
Real fast. When I was liberated, we crossed that river. We slept that night, and the next day we got a C-47 plane. You probably know what they are. Mm-hmm. And a cargo plane, they call it. And I was so sick. I mean, I was sick. When I was a prisoner, during the prison, I had another sickness real bad, but that's okay. It's just, I got well of that. But I was real sick, and I vomited and everything. And
did the Germans treat you okay?
Huh?
Did the German soldiers treat you okay?
Well, we never had too much to do with the Germans. All they do is whenever we move, they had their rifles ready. If you don't jump, they'll shoot you. I saw a man, and that was not very far from being liberated. And think that it was that day. And one of these ranks, which was 100 men, in front of us, was resting. See, we was behind, space so much. And I look at when they told them to get up and start walking, you know. And we were walking towards them. and a German on a horse. I don't know what this GI, a very nice built guy, tell this German. He told him something. I don't know. I didn't hear it. But the German was real nervous and he wanted to move him fast because the Russian was coming after us too. And he shot him in the head. He happened to he was on a horse and he went and shot this man. And he was there. When I got to it, I tried to cover up his face, blood was coming out of his head, It pitied me a lot because this man was really coming home, was a young fellow, maybe 22, 23, and he seemed to be a pretty nice looking guy. It seems to me like he would have been because when he was tall and well. And that's what the day before we got liberated, or the day that we got liberated.
And what kind of food did the Germans feed you when you were a POW?
They gave us one loaf of bread for 7 men. And they gave us a teaspoon of sugar and a teaspoon of marmalade. And sometimes they gave us a soup every other day. I was the one in my what do you call it? No, I'm the one on that quarters, or just where we sleep, And I was the one that divided the bread. And what I did, I tell the men to turn away, because I'm going to cut the bread. Don't let nobody see. I had to do that because they would feel bad if they get one more than the other one. And after that, I get a man. I appoint a man to put a blind. And then when they wanted to eat, I told the guy that was blindfolded, "Whose is this?" And he said, "Whoever Jack." And then, "Whose is this?" And they had to agree, so there wouldn't be no hard feelings, because you used to get mad easy. And I used to do that, but then it wasn't enough what we used to eat. I was a skinny boy when I was the liberator, once in a while, I was the one that used to go and get the bread and stuff like that, And I remember one time I was going, it wasn't an American, but on the fence, a dead guy, they used to put him those prisoner things. They didn't do that to us. Uniform as prisoners. I saw quite a few people that died while I was a prisoner. And what was the question?
About the food that they would give you and how you divided your feed.
Yeah, that was divided with, and then we sleep 2 men in the bunk. It was straw. We put one blanket on the bottom, and covered with another one. And we were so. There was, whenever we used soup, about every 2 or 3 days, I guess we would get a soup. Most of the time, we would leave in those little things, the teaspoon of this, teaspoon of that, and so on. And that soup, one time that soup was full of worms, and we didn't want to eat it. Of course, the worms were from the rota, what do you call that vegetable? Rutabaga.
Oh, yes.
What soup was made out of that, and it had worms, and we didn't want to eat it, but we were hungry, so we just take worms out and eat the soup. It was good. I mean, it felt good because we were hungry,
And can you describe how you felt when you were liberated?
Oh my God. I can hardly believe it when you're liberated. I was jumping when they said they're coming over there, across the river. God damn it. Hey, hurry up, come for us. And I was, even though I felt sick, and no, that feeling was bad, and we all got skinny.
And how was it when you came back to the United States? How was the reunion with your family?
Well, they were real happy. They expect me to see skinny bones, but when I was in France, I got to France, and I'm gonna retrack that boy that I picked up. And I asked one of the fellows from my company that was on another stalag, I guess, in France. And I said, "Do you see Everhart?" And he, "Oh, yeah, he was in the hospital with me." "How did he do?" I said, "No, he different. They cut his leg off, but they sent him home. They shipped him home already." And I'm glad that I found out. I thought I didn't know what. That was coincidence. I went forward the question.
How was your reunion at home with your fans when they finally?
Okay. So what happened is, well, I have to bring this up. We started eating in France in the camping, little by little, because we couldn't take too much. And I was so, they gave me all kinds of pills to take every 20 minutes and all this stuff. Well, that's probably not interesting. So then when we got to, after a while, we started eating pretty good, we regular meals. And then they flew us to, when we got pretty well, build up, recoup, we went to England. They flew us to England. I remember we flew over France and I could see the tower. And then we got, it was May the 6th, I think, and that was Mother's Day, I think it was. We came back on a Spanish boat. All the guys that run the boat were Spaniards. And I used to go and talk to the guy that was leading the, pilot in the thing. We had a nice time talking. And I don't know how long it took us to come back. It was frustrating when going over there, but it was comfortable. Very comfortable. And then we landed when we see the Statue of Liberty, I'm not kidding, tears came out. We came through the Statue of Liberty, and then we got to where we got off of the boat, the ship, and they had bands playing there, and it was a parade, they received it, like a parade and everything else. Boy, the first thing we did kiss the ground. Most of it, all of it. And then there were trucks there, and then take us to Camp Hamilton. They had a very beautiful table set for each 8 men. They had cake, they had everything. Welcome home, heroes. And I said, boy, this is good. And I don't know how many days we stayed there, 2 or 3 days. And we ate pretty good, and they gave us liberty to go to see New York, We took taxis to go there. We got back, and then put us on a special train, running about 100 or more miles an hour. It's got a very special train, and we got to Chicago, and I feel like I had to have a drink, And the guys were saying that they had a drink before, but they didn't have any more. Some of the guys that were with me. I think I can go and get a drink. The train hasn't left yet. So I got off. I was the first train from the locomotive, you know. And I got on. I talked to the engineer. I says, you know what? I like to go and get a drink. I mean, bring a bottle. But how long are we going to stay here? We were taking off. But go ahead. We'll wait for you. Do you know where the liquor store is? He said, turn left and go there. And they waited for me, and I come over there, and I said, thank you. And then the sergeant that was supposed to be in charge of that, he called me, what the hell are you doing out there? I went to get some liquor. I said, oh, well, get on that train. But it's hard to believe, you know, the thing that they do for you when they think that you did something for them, I guess. I don't know. So I got to Phoenix. I don't remember what date it was at all. I wasn't counting days anyway. But my brother and sisters, except my dad and my mom, were there. And my wife was there. So I got off of the train, and they were waiting for me. They already they sent them telegrams all the time, telling where I was, and what I was doing, when what's coming, you know. It was a good thing that they do those things for the family, you know. And I didn't know what to say when I got it. I didn't know which to shake hands, who to hug, and here's Delia, everybody pushing. Well, that was my wife. And I hugged her, and I was, how is mother? I was, and all that stuff. And mother made a how do you call it, a compromiso? When you make for some.
Oh, wow.
So somebody can get well or Amanda, that she was going to walk from the house to the street in her knees. And when I was getting out of the car, and I see her, what are you doing, mother? No, I promise. No, I promise nothing. You already prayed enough, that's why I came back.
And after you came back from the war, you raised your family?
You
had children?
Yeah.
How many children did you have?
Altogether, I have to it's 5.
5 children?
2 boys and 3 girls.
Mm-hmm. And what did you do after the war? Where did you work?
Well, you'll be surprised what I did. After a while, I started working for the city, but then I saw somebody said, you know what? You want to just join the National Guard? Really? I says, did they take me? Yeah, I said, they want veterans. Okay, count me in, I says, and I joined the National Guard.
How long were you in the National Guard?
I stayed altogether, let's see, 6 years in the Army. I mean, in the infantry. And then I laid off in 6 months. I quit. And then I joined the Air National Guard. Another 2 terms. 6 years. And 6 years at 12 years.
12 years. And what's the advice do you have for young people today if they want to join the military?
Well, I would say that you will probably get to tough times where you have to almost give your life. But it doesn't mean that you're going to get killed, you know. It means that you know what the score is.
And how do you think that the lives of the Latinos have changed from during the time that you grew up and now?
Oh, great. the Latino has not necessarily the Latino being accepted more, but the Latino feel more Americans.
Is there anything else that you want to add to our interview about your service to your country?
To my country?
Is there anything you want to add to our interview about your military service or about anything in your life that you want to talk about?
Well, I can say that there is no other country in the world with the government that we got, the way it's run, the people that are in it. I mean, there is no other country. It's worth fighting for. And if anybody joins the service, I think that it's a big honor because it's worth it.
I would like to say thank you for your service to our country. And also, we want to thank you for your time, for being able to share your experiences about the war with us.
Oh, you're welcome.